Okay,
I have a
folks.
question.
Yes.
Do you know Jamie Rogers?
Can't say that I do.
Well, he knows Jay Matheson, and he's friends with my dad, so I was just wondering.
What does Jamie do?
I think he works at Sirius XM.
Okay. All right. I'm looking to make sure we don't have someone else in. If you see that I need to let someone in somehow, let me know, okay? All right, you guys are welcome to put your cameras on if you'd like. You don't have to though.
So I have a question regarding the lab 3 that we're going to be having here in a few
hmm
weeks.
hmm
So I really doubt I'm going to be able to make it to like the labs on Wednesday or Friday in order to actually start the lab 2 because of the power outages. So I just want to make sure before I end up panicking and missing on the due dates of any of them. When is lab 3 going to be starting on?
I'm going to introduce that tonight, and lab
Okay.
will be due on the 2 weeks from now.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, I got it.
Good. Let's see. More. Let me see if there are more people here. I feel like we have I feel like we have everyone we need to, I think. Let's see. Okay, it looks like I've admitted everyone that we should by now. Someone please let me know if you see somebody else coming in the group. Oh, here's somebody. Good. Okay. I think what I'm going to do with the names first, I'll just try to copy um, the list. Okay, I'll just check what I've copied there. Okay, good. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get rolling on this tonight. Some of you have probably already looked at the material for tonight. Some of it's about sound absorption. I know there's a lab assignment with, and there's some terms for sound absorption. Let's start with a few things. I'm gonna roll over to Pro Tools, and we're probably not going to take the whole 2 hours tonight. I'm gonna roll into Pro Tools and see if I can share that with everyone. Okay, can you see the Pro Tools screen, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good.
Yes, sir.
All right, so this is a session. I was touring with a jazz band in Poland in May. And at the end of the tour, we did a video shoot. And then if you want to look up names of anyone on here, the people you might find would be Gregory Tardy. He's the saxophonist, and he's currently out with Bill Frisell, the Bill Frisell Four. He also plays with others on an international level. And then Mark Bowling is the guitar player, but he is not playing on this song. And he's had books published on jazz composition, arrangement, things like that. So in this session, there's a drummer, acoustic bass, piano, and saxophone. And I'll just play a little bit of this for you. Everyone have that loud enough to hear? Oh, I see it turned itself up. This is a better level for the music, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So all this is live in the room. It starts with drums. Let's see if we can solo the drums. So the drummer's just barely playing at this point. Here's our bass. There is an under piano mic. And then two mics on top. So you can hear all the other band members bleeding through the open mics. And if I go to Greg's mic, Greg Tardy, then you can hear there's drums bleeding through his. We did a couple of room mics. And then I'm just using those room mics to feed the reverb. But if I turn off the reverb, I can turn up the mics for you. And those mics are up pretty high in the room. Okay, in this mix, I'm doing a few things. But not a lot. You can tell on the drum kit. If you look up at the top, you'll see I don't have many plugins. These trim, you have these in your Pro Tools session. I'm using these mostly to change the phase as I'm listening. That's a technique that you might learn later on. I only have this EQ on the bass drum and a second kind of fun EQ on the bass drum, and that's it. So this is how I recorded it and just balanced the levels. And it's not a popular style jazz recording. It is, I mean, it's not a popular pop kind of thing. It's an old style recording, and the drums are tuned that way. Does that make sense to everyone? Okay, on the bass I had to do some work to get that where it is, and we won't go into all that. On the piano, and drag this subgroup over. The piano has some EQ on the top microphones and some EQ on the bottom microphone. So it's a lot the way the piano player's playing it. And then on my master output, you'll see I just selected, I'm using, this is from Waves, the Pwig, but you have an EQ in your Pro Tools rig if you're looking for that kind of thing. It should be this one here. All right, you'll have to research how to use that. It's a little more complicated. It looks like this from Waves. It does a lot of the same stuff like this in your rig. Then I have a Fairchild compressor. This is from UAD, and another real expensive, but you have this also in Waves. Let's see if, I think it's the 670. Okay, so this is the one that's in Pro Tools. I'm sorry if I said that wrong earlier, but that is coming with your Pro Tools rig. And that's a fancy compressor that was used during the Beatles recordings. So you can get a sound that's serious to what I'm doing close when you use, you know, something like this on your master bus. Let's say all that looks too complicated. Something I wanted to show you is, I think at the end of our last time, we just brought up this 304 EQ. So now I've defeated what I was using. Here's this 304 EQ. Let me get it into where the drums are playing a little bit. Like I'm gonna boost the bass a little. I'm gonna boost the treble a little. I'm not using the mid at all. But you can tell that is changing things. Let me turn that off. And I'll go back on. Everyone getting that? Feeling that? If someone gives me a verbal yes, that'd be great for me to know.
Yes.
Thank you, that's good. Okay, then back, you know, we had a simple compressor. Here's a 3A, we were looking at this. This is just to take down the peaks. So I might turn it, you see the needle. And then I can turn up the volume, you know, and get it to the level I need to send. This one that I had on is off now. So the only two on the master is that 304 and that compressor. I'm going to bypass those. I'd probably use less of that compression, so I'm not pushing that needle over too much. That's bypassed. You can see how something like that simple on your master might change your whole mix, right? Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If this EQ still doesn't look like something you want to mess with, I'm going to show you one more that we have in Pro Tools. I just need to find it. That one. Okay, this is a graphic EQ. If you're an older guy like me, you might have seen this in a car. So let's EQ the whole band with this. This is kind of crazy. I'm not always suggesting this, but you can put this on your channels, you know, even. It will definitely modify all of your sound. So there's a lot of bass. I'm gonna take it out. Everyone noticed the bass completely went away. Put it back in. Add some treble, but it's not that high, so I wouldn't add too much of this. Maybe just some of it. Bypass. And then if I really wanted to modify the sound, I might take some of the mids out. The folks that know about these EQs call this the smiley face EQ that I'm doing right now. See the smile, everyone? Here's a bypass. Coming back on. Obviously, we can see how that would really, really change the sound, correct? Okay, let's don't save that one. Let's start a new session. See if it brings it up right. New. Okay, the thing you're going to need to get through your next session, um, your ending lab, you're going to need to know how to open up a track. So you can see my cursor, right? I can go to track and say new. There's a track I can record on.
I'm not seeing
No, I'm
anything.
not.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Let's see if we.
Yeah, I was about to say something.
I appreciate you guys. Just do that. Keep me straight. Don't let me lead you astray. Let's see if we get that one. Share. Okay, how's that going? Everyone have that there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
No,
All right, let's do it again. Okay, we're on that screen. Can you see this top part where I'm putting my cursor or not? You can only see in the green window. Okay, I'm got the fourth pull down, which is new. It's track and new. So I click on new. There it is. Let's say I want to do hand claps and a vocal. I might do 2 tracks, and I could say create. All right, everyone saw that. Here's the mix window. You see there are the 2 tracks. So what we say, hand claps. I opened that by double clicking. Let me close it. I just double clicked right there. I'm going to do claps. Let's see. Let's get into that. Claps. And what did we say? A vocal. All right, now I want to pull in a master. So I get to tracks and I open a new track and I can say stereo and I can say master. And let's say I'm one of the people that want to use an external reverb. So I still might say stereo and aux input. Remember, we have a bus. And if we send it to the right place and add a reverb, then we can, have an effects return. So let's call it reverb return. Now watch, you'll see to the down here, you'll watch this populate a couple more tracks. So there's master and reverb return, right? Everyone good with that so far?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, I'm going to put a click track up. That's still in the fourth pull down menu. I have file, edit, view, then track. At the bottom of track, I get create click. Let's do something kind of, I don't know, 110. I'm feeling that tonight. Okay, I've got my click going. I can change sounds in my click. Let's see what it sounds like.
should I hear a sound?
I should hear sound. I'm missing it tonight.
What is that? What is that red right there?
What's that? Say it again. Can you repeat your question?
Yeah,
Oh, he was saying,
on click
sorry.
1, there is a red radio button. Is that hindering you? On the click track, click 1.
Yeah,
There's a red radio button.
I don't see oh, that one. It
Yeah.
should not. Okay, let's see if we get going again. I think the problem is using Zoom. I think that's a big part of our issue because some of my things are not functioning. That's it. Okay.
Could it be the playback engine?
Actually, the playback engine is set. I'm, in Zoom, I'm using the output of my audio device to send to you guys.
Okay. It's probably just Zoom.
I think Zoom is making us a little messed up. So let's take the click out. Let's see if we can record on 2. That's where I've got my, so everyone see what I'm doing here. I'm going to go to input 2. That's my mic. And I'm going to turn it down a little bit in my room. Go to record. Hey. Okay, so I got claps. So let's see if I can run this. 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, if I go over here, we'll see that I'm spreading that out. What shortcut am I using to open that up on the keyboard? How do I zoom? Anyone can tell me.
R and T.
R&T, that's right. Okay, maybe someone was saying it and I just had my volume down because I
I was
didn't,
on mute. No problem.
I didn't want to feedback. Okay, then I want to do the same thing if I'm recording another. I've get the same mic that I've set up and I want to record something to that. I'm going to listen to it first. 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't like the end of it, so I'm just going to cut that out. 1, 3, 1, 3. Okay, now I'm gonna record something else onto here. Hey, I'm not sure what to say. Hey, I'm not sure what to say. Hey. Okay, let's hear that. Hey, I'm not sure what to say. Hey, I'm not sure what to say. Hey. Hey. All right, something really cheesy, just showing us what we can do with a couple of mics, because you need at least a couple of tracks for your last project. For those of you that would like to just set up a reverb maybe right on your channel, you would just bring up some reverb. We'll use reverb 1, see how that does. Since it's on the channel, remember to go to this little area here because it would sound just all reverberant. Hey, I'm not sure what to say. Hey, I'm not sure what to say. Hey. Okay, if I didn't want to do that and I wanted to make a bus, then I could set my input up to receive. Here's my input. I'm going to put a send here, bus 1 and 2. Here's my send that just came up. I'm going to turn it up. And I'm going to drag my reverb over there. Hey, I'm not sure. So we see it's sending, right? I'm going to turn it on. Hey, I'm not sure what to say. I'm going to have the reverb completely wet. Bring the volume down. Hey, I'm not sure what to say. Hey, I'm not sure what to say. Hey, hey, I'm not sure what to say. Okay, so the question is, does all of that make sense to you? Are you able to think about how to get your inputs set up, how to put a reverb either directly on a channel or to send one, and how to record and how to mix a little bit? Let's say I wanted to not hear the vocal as much. Hey, I'm not sure what to say. We just turn it down. Everyone, does that make sense to you? Is there something else we need to discuss with that?
Hey,
What,
this is Satish here. Sorry.
Yes,
Go ahead.
yes.
How did you enable the reverb on this one?
Okay, on this one, on the channel that says vocal, you can see
Yeah,
that, right?
well,
yeah,
I don't see where you're pointing at.
exactly.
You don't see my mouse?
Yeah, I see your mouse, but I don't see where you're clicking the mouse.
Exactly. Yeah, we are not seeing your actions.
Yeah.
So you can't see me turning that on and off, or you can't see the mouse moving over it?
No, sir. We are.
Are you on the mix screen or the edit screen?
We can't see the mix screen. We're on the edit screen.
You're on the edit screen. Thank you,
I don't
guys.
know if you may have it on another screen.
You're right. You're right.
Oh, oh.
Yeah. So sorry. Let's see if we can share that correctly. Okay. That was very easy a moment ago, and now it's gotten a little bit more difficult. Okay. Here we go. Share. Okay. Thanks for letting me know. I'm sorry that didn't work out so far. Should I do the whole mix part over?
Yes, please.
Okay, so if I'm back to this, everyone sees my mouse
Yeah.
now, and you see
Yes,
the
sir.
mix screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you guys saw me add the recording, right? I here shows where my mic's plugged in. So you might not have all of these, you might just have two at the top. I chose that,
Mm-hmm.
chose my output. Here's my output for my master. All right, I'm gonna just shut these down for a second. Let's don't even look at the reverb return. All right, let's say this is all you want to do, a reverb on a voice. The first thing you want to do here is bring that reverb down because let's listen to that sound. Hey, I'm not sure if it was this way. It's just completely reverb, right? So we want some dry sound, not completely wet. Does that make sense? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I'm not sure what to say. Hey, so there's our voice into some reverb. Now, if we wanted to do it with a bus, we could.
So basically, bus is a track.
Let me take it off. Okay. So right here, you see where this insert is? We inserted a reverb.
Okay.
Right here is a send. We're going to send out to a pathway. So that's what I'm doing with this bus, turning it up. All right, remember I had this track here. This is bus 1 and 2. Everyone see that?
Mm.
Mm.
Yes?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
It is hard to work this with let me try to do something else. It's hard to work where I can, get everything in the right place. Okay, so the bus is sending if I have this turned up. I'm gonna see if I can get a new bus that we can have closer to us. Only 3 and 4. What if I get one there? All right, here we go. All right. This channel, the vocal is into this channel. Hey, I'm not sure everyone can see that. I'm on the sends, I'm sending out of bus 1 and 2, and that's my pathway. My pathway goes to 1 and 2 and returns right here on 1 and 2. Everyone see I have a aux input. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
On that aux input, I can put a reverb there. So here's the channel. It goes out a bus or a pathway. It knows it's going to return here, but in the middle of it, I put reverb.
So question: how does this pathway knows where to send it?
It's kind of like if you have air in your house and there's a send and a return, the air comes into your house, it's sent into your house, it's moving around, but there's a return on your air conditioning, and it returns to the air conditioning and filters it. Everyone understand that kind of illustration?
Yes.
So there are sends and returns. Or if I had water and I turned on the water, but I wanted to send it to a purifier. So now the water is going through a water filter, and then it returns to a place where I can now drink the water. It's filtered.
No, I get the part. Where did you say on that particular path go into that particular channel?
Okay, you see the send. You see it's 1 and 2.
Yeah.
See, I've chosen 1 and 2 right here.
Okay.
All that makes sense?
Yeah.
Well,
So one and two on the track two, and here 1 and 2 you're choosing it, which
yes,
means it's going to receive it.
right.
And the other green screen, what is that green screen actually?
This one is the return.
Is a real name is return or
I called it reverb return. I could even write it completely
no,
out.
it's a track. Basically, it's a track, correct?
It is an aux track. You see on these tracks,
Yeah.
they can record. On this track, you cannot put audio,
Oh, okay.
can't
Okay.
record audio onto it.
Okay. Question to you: why you need a pathway and why you need a auxiliary?
Well, maybe I want more control of this, and maybe I want to send several things to it.
Oh, okay.
So now we could send the hand claps as well. Hey, I'm not sure what to say. Hey,
Right. Okay.
I'm not sure what. And then maybe on that one, I want more reverb on the hand claps. Hey, I'm not sure what to say. Hey, I'm not sure what to say. Hey, make sense?
Mm-hmm.
But I only have one reverb in the middle of that. So it's a way that I can get multiple tracks into a reverb. All right, let's stop with that. That is one way to do reverb. Another way to do it, I'm muting that one. I'm gonna act like it's not even there, closing it out. Another way to do it again, if you want reverb, is to have it directly on your channel. Hey, I'm not sure what to say. Hey, I'm not sure. And you could put that on the hand clap channel as well. Then some of you are going to want EQ. We talked about EQ. One mode would be graphic. Hey, I'm not sure what to say. Hey, I'm not sure what to say. Hey, I'm not sure what to say. Hey. Everyone sees how that could really change the sound there, I'm sure. And
Yeah.
then if I needed it to be compressed because it's too dynamic, then I could use one of these compressors, BF2A or BF3A. Hey, I'm not sure what to say. Hey, I'm not sure what to say. And I can compress it. Hey, I'm not sure what to say. Hey. You know, that's basically what we need for your final project. A few channels, you doing a few things with those channels to make them sound the way you want, and then you have to bounce that. Now remember, in the file pull-down menu, that's the first menu after Pro Tools, there's bounce mix. Okay, I'm gonna just make a selection. I'll be right back from the edit window. I have a selection already. I'm coming back to you guys. I'm in the bounce to disk. Everyone can see the mix page, right? Can someone see the mix page?
No.
Still on. Oh yeah, still on the mix page.
It's on the mix page, right? You can see my cursor moving.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Okay.
Okay, file pull down, bounce mix, Greg's test. I've selected what I want to do. I need an MP3 for the final, and I need to make a wave. And we'll look on that in a minute to make sure how we want to do it. You know, from you guys, I at least want to see a 16-bit, but you're welcome to make a 24-bit. If you start with wave, most of you should be in a Pro Tools that might add an MP3. So here is the wave that you're selecting. Here's adding the MP3. You can make a bigger file, a 24-bit 44, and that would be fine. And I can say offline, or I can say I want to hear it, record. I would say bounce. And the artist, is G Daddy. And that's all. We got the album Cool New Record. All right, you can put all that in and see all that in your MP3.
Hey, I'm not sure what to say. Hey, I'm not sure
You
what
want
to
to see
say.
that bounce to disk.
Hey.
It's bouncing. It's doing a little homework, and it did it.
Excuse me, Greg. I missed the part where you were you enabled to be able to hear it while it was being bounced.
Okay, let's do that one again then.
Please.
Bounce to disk, bounce mix. I'm sorry, it used to be called bounce to disk. Now it's just called bounce mix. Greg's test number 1. I'm making a wave. I added my MP3, interleave 24-bit 44.1. At the bottom here, I can either be
Got it.
offline,
Got it.
which will do it without me hearing it, or online. That way I get to choose how to hear it.
And then one other question. When you clicked on add MP3, though file type up there was WAV,
Yep.
it's gonna send both types
Also
there?
going to add your MP3.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Guys, I'm going to move on. Let's see if I can get to a place where we can do it different. I'm going to stop share. Does it go back to me? Maybe I'll start the video. Okay, how's that?
Good.
Good to see my smiling face. All right. Listen, it's a huge thing for you guys to learn your shortcuts and learn your terms. There's not too many. One thing, Jay, he'll make some illustrations I think that are fun, but one thing is like if you go to the store and you buy a hamburger, you go to the fast food store, you buy a hamburger, and you take the bag home and you just sit it on the table and you don't eat your hamburger. Was of no value to you. So as we're showing you the shortcuts and the terms, it's good for you to use those shortcuts and use those terms. We want it to be valuable to you. If you're going to go into this kind of audio or record, we're showing you very basic things that will help you out in recording. It is a priority to turn in your labs. So there's a lab that we assigned last week that you'll need to turn in by next week. Start saving your labs onto your USB stick. It's just a change that Jay's making with the new computer. Save them on your USB stick. Make sure you have all of your audio that goes with each Pro Tools session. Remember, when you're making a Pro Tools session, to copy all the audio into the session, check your audio file in your Pro Tools session to make sure your audio is in there. If you don't turn in a lab, that's like failing the class. Make sure you turn in your lab. That ensures that you're moving towards passing, the class. If we're going over the shortcuts and have been over the terms so many times, you'll probably have a lot of them in your head. Make sure you go over them a little bit more. You've got 2 more weeks before that final. It's not a big deal, but you need to pass the final. My last time, I think the lowest grade was around 85. So we're giving you the information. It's there, a little bit of studying, and you'll pass the test. We're not making it real. I went to Midlands Tech about 40 years ago, and I didn't know what college was all about. And on my first test in a physics class, there were only 2 questions, and I couldn't answer one, and so I automatically knew that I had failed. We're not making tests like that. We're going over the terms over and over. We're talking about frequencies. We're talking about, waveforms, and we're talking about what you can do with, Command X or save, anything like that. So we're making this where we're hoping you guys can get it in your minds and do it just right. Okay, does everyone have the final assignment there from the email you got today?
Yes, sir.
For the beats.
There's a lab 3 that came in your email. It's called Final Assignment for Studio Recording 1. So look in your email, lab 3. I just went over a lot of what we'd be doing, but the first thing says, first thing on the page says, I'm sorry, I missed the question at the end of the class, Derek. Did you not get that? Okay. Power outages. Does everyone, okay, everyone got it. The question I asked is about lab 2 was, yeah, so if you can't get into the lab this week, Jay is talking about even opening the lab maybe special next week, maybe even in the evening. And he's going to make sure they're going to go a little bit longer next week in person. And just try to get you lots of hands-on. There's going to be actually going to be 2 instructors next week. I won't be there, but there'll be 2 instructors, and you'll get to do a lot of hands-on work next week. I hope that helps, Derek. For your final class, you should have the following: a Pro Tools session. It's just like what we've been doing so far. You know, it's going to be that PTX or PTXT file, audio files, some backups, things like that. And you'll need the bounce of the audio recording. It's fine if you want to do a wave and an MP3 bounce. More is not bad. The Pro Tools session should have at least 2 tracks, and at least one should have been recorded with a microphone or a line in, so that the line input might be a guitar or a bass or something else. Yes, I think I'm answering a question on text. I think that Jay's going to edit this and post it where everyone can see it. Try to keep the overall session that you're working on for your final short enough that everyone gets to see and hear that in class. You get to show it in class. And during your last class, you'll also get your certificate after you've done your test and shown your final. You have to do the lab. Yep. Okay. If you have live audio that you recorded, you can use that. You should have live audio that you've recorded in the session. It should come from a microphone or a keyboard or a bass or a guitar or something like that. Not just MIDI or just beats, you know, like if our friend, you know, gives all those beats to us. All right, so again, please turn in the bounce files as well as the Pro Tools sessions. Remember to add all of your audio. I'm sorry, Carson, you can turn on your mic maybe. You want to know.
I was just curious. So I have a guitar, an interface, and a microphone.
Yep.
So, and
You're wanting to know if you could do it at home?
yes, yes, sir.
Yes. Yep, no problem.
Okay, thank you.
Just needs to be a Pro Tools session. You can't come in with a Logic session. And you guys, if you do it, if you have like some kind of DAW or some way to record online, you can't come in like that and download the files in class. It has to come in as a Pro Tools session on your zip drive or jump drive, USB drive, and you got to be able to, you know, plug it into the computer and drop it off in that computer in the classroom. You can make a song with a beat in Pro Tools or something else as long as it's in Pro Tools, and then you still need to record. Everyone can see this mic. I'm using this on purpose. It's just something that you might get with a Focusrite, Scarlett. Sometimes there are headphones and all like that. You just need to record with a real mic or plug a guitar or a bass or something directly into your audio device. So one beat or a bunch of beats and at least one mic or line input that came from a real instrument that you had to set the levels on. Okay, some suggestions would be a beat and a vocal, an acoustic and a vocal, several instruments. They might come from MIDI and a vocal or a guitar or a bass. Spoken voice with music under it and sound effects. Say someone, maybe one of you really is enjoying film or video or something like that. This might be something that would be up your alley. Like if you say, man, I've got this really cool incidental music that I can imagine being on a film, and I'm going to put some background effects in it, and I'm going to use a spoken voice kind of to, you know, have a dramatic voice and all like that in there, then that's good. I don't know what Midlands Tech's rules or Midlands Audio Institute. I mean, maybe if it's really explicit, go ahead and drop a beep over those words or cut that word out, and you could ask Jay next week. Rap's fine. Yeah, nothing too harsh, I'd say. Like, 'cause we're going to play that for the whole class, and we have people from so many different backgrounds and ethnicities and all like that. We just want to, you know, it to be enjoyable and fun for everyone to be there. So, thanks for that question. You have to have that session present at the class. You can't download it, again, like I said, as a web-based class. And don't try to like make it all up that day and do all that work that day. Get prepared and do it in the next couple of weeks. Okay, that's about the labs. Okay, let's talk about some absorption. I'd like to show you something that I've done. I'm going to move a few things around. Sometimes I have a singer, and this is some absorption, and I might take the sheet music and put it in foam. Okay, so let me close this door so we don't hear back out there. This is the craziest little kind of home studio I've had in a while. I'm in a small room at my church right off the green room, but it's filled with sound absorption. All right, so this is right here at the music stand, and it could be hit or whatever. And then you can tell that thing's just ringing, and if my voice is there and the microphone's hearing it, it's very reflective. This cuts down that reflection. Could everyone hear that and notice that or maybe someone could notice that, that's cutting down. You know, if you have a closet and you can record your voice in, listen, these are just towels. If I'm talking in the mic, you hear my voice. I'm going to put the towel in front of it. Have you noticed that it's more difficult to hear me now? Everyone notice that?
Yes.
Yep. Okay. Here's 3 towels. I'm going to put those right in front of the mic. Okay. Now I'm trying to talk through 3 towels right in front of the mic. Everyone get that? That's substantial. All right. Check this out. My voice is kind of reflecting in the room. Yeah, it sounded like it was in the, but now it sounds close, right, Derek? Okay. All right. Look at this. All right. Again, around me is a sound blanket and absorption. I'm going to show you in a second. But what if I just brought these 2 towels in close to the microphone? Did everyone notice that change? So that's another change that you could make. So maybe you put your microphone in a closet with a bunch of clothes, or your linen closet has a bunch of towels or something like that, or you have some pillows or a mattress. These sound blankets, I looked up and bought a couple of years ago. The price was right. It's pretty heavy. There are some grommets on those, and so I could put nails on the wall and hang them on that. All right, back here in the back, again, this is just a workroom. I've taken what was a clear sonic panel that comes in drum kits, and maybe you can tell at the mic, I'm kind of closing off my voice from the rest of the room. Did that sound drier? You can write it on text if you want to, or tell me. So I'm thinking it probably sounds drier than if I just do that. So that's me in the room. Hey, hey. Here's my voice with a little bit of sound absorption right near the microphone, and we should be able to tell that's drier. All right. In the room, there are two panels here, and then there's a door. Then above it are two more panels. Okay, then behind the speakers, here's my setup that I was working with. Behind the speakers are, let's see, 1, 2, 3 on the wall, and then 1, 2 on the wall, and 1 right here on this wall, and then panels all up above. So it's really modifying and changing the way this room sounds because I have so much absorption. So the panels, those I was showing you over there, are from wood 1x4s, and they're made with rock wool. And it's a 2x4 panel that you could buy even at Lowe's or Home Depot or a sound absorption company and have it shipped to you. And there are ways and designs that you can find even to build that. You can also buy that online. Okay, if you're looking at the pages, like this, sound absorption coefficients, you're going to notice that there are frequencies. So here are the frequencies, and they are each octave starting at 125. So here's something about octaves. At 125, if you go up to 250, that's an octave higher. If you go from 250 to 500, it's an octave higher. 1K or 1000 hertz, that's that tone that we used to hear on television a lot, a test tone, then 2K, then 4K. That's a lot of how sound absorption is measured. If I turn this around, let me see if I can put something on it so you can read that. Well, if you notice, let's just go to that first page where it says carpet. People have been wanting to put carpet in practice rooms for ages, but you can tell that on the low end at 125, 250, 500, there is hardly any absorption at all. There's a tad bit more absorption at 1K, and then more at 2 and more at 4. So the carpet didn't do anything for the mid-range. Obviously the concrete doesn't. It's just big reflective kind of things. If you go down to seating materials and you see benches with cushioned seats, that is starting to do some real sound absorption. If you see benches where it says wooden and fully occupied, so people in seats, that does a lot of sound absorption. Now it's hard to get a lot of people to sit in your studio while you're wanting to be creative. Brick, I just flipped the page. Brick doesn't do anything. Concrete block does a little bit, but brick is just highly reflective. Concrete block is absorbing a little bit. Doors are not absorbing much at all. Solid wood panels. You can do stuff with wood that does help you. Plaster and gypsum board, so sheetrock doesn't do anything. It reflects back, but if you hang gypsum board right on studs, you can do things with with a factor that's called it's really about soundproofing and how does if you can get the sound to not go through walls. So at a really in a really great house or a great hotel, they've built double walls and the sound doesn't go through. Notice when we get to plywood, especially when we get down to 1 inch, if we get to plywood with some fiberglass behind it, there's more absorption in the low end. On the next page, we see drapery does not do anything until you have some drapery that is a lot heavier, a lot fuller. So there's a decent difference by the time we have the pleated, really full drapes, like big heavy curtains that are theater curtains. This fiberglass board, you can tell, starts doing quite a bit up in the high mids, and as it gets thicker, so a fiberglass board 3 inches, that is doing a lot of absorption. And if you want to buy and make that, look for Owens Corning 703 or 704. It's something like fiberglass. I think it's a mineral. The pegboard starts getting things right in the middle. If you could look at pegboard with 1 inch fiberglass behind it, you'll notice the mid is almost completely absorbed, 0.99. All right, that's something about sound absorptive materials. Standing waves could be in a room and could be resonant frequencies in rooms. They create uneven responses. So let me go into another room and see if we can get online here. 1 second. All right, I'm not sure if any of you can hear me. Can you see me now? I can't see the chart.
Yes, I can see.
Yep.
Yep. Okay. Thank you so much. Okay. In this room I'm in right now, there's a nice couch, and I'm in between a sheetrock wall and another wall. I'm going to go turn the studio. Well, I'll just talk. You can tell in this room, it's a lot bigger and doesn't really mute like when I was in the studio. I'm not sure if that is clear to everyone. Look at chat. It is clear. You guys can tell it's a lot bigger sounding, a lot more roomy. All right, let me do this one. Let me see if there's someone. This room. Okay, this room holds about 300 people, and even when I record in here, the reverb in the room is much longer. Hello? Hello? Okay, now there are these padded seats, so if I got down between the seats, my voice would kind of stop, and my voice would kind of stop and get a little more dry. So I'm just down between the seats now, and I'm talking in these padded seats. As soon as I get up in the air, you can hear that reverb, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll turn this one back off. I wonder if it'll go back to my voice now, or if I have to turn that video off. 1 second.
Nah, we can hear you. Oh, he's gone. Yo, we can hear you, dude.
Yep, I got you. I just wanted it to get back to the right video. Okay, you can notice how in here it's really much more dry. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 real panels. They're 2x4, and then all those drum panels. It's a much better situation. And I'm not sure if I've said this before, but you know, when the importance of this is that we don't need a lot of extra sound. And maybe I mentioned this a few classes ago, the idea that I only need the sound to go into the microphone once. We talked about that, right? So, you know, this microphone's getting my voice pretty direct. I mean, there's a ceiling up above, but it has ceiling tiles, so that's not bad. So it's getting a direct sound. Kind of in a similar way, I don't need my speaker system to be really creative. I'd like my speaker system to sound good because I want to enjoy what I'm doing with it, but I need it to be correct. And I need the room that I'm in to be sounding correct. I used to call it a science lab, but that's just kind of a harsh way to look at it. I would just say like a control room or a controlled atmosphere is what I want. So I want my speakers to sound really good from bottom, very full, all the way to the top, so I can make those decisions. So I don't need my speakers to be creative because I want to be creative. It doesn't mean my speakers need to sound bad. They can sound really good, but my room, I shouldn't be listening in a room with a bunch of reverb or bouncy sounds in there. If that's the case, I need to pull out my headphones and really listen carefully in my headphones. And then your first reflections are going to be coming off the speaker in areas like that. That's, here I am. There's my reflections. There's my speaker. Same thing over here. So I'm right there. Here's my speaker, and that's beside me. So I don't want to hear those first reflections like I'm hearing my speakers. I want my, reflections to not be really loud at my listening point. I want to triangulate myself between the speakers. That's a really good way to go. If the speakers are too wide, I might not know how wide I'm making my stereo. If they're too narrow, same thing. I won't know how wide. It might be that when I listen in stereo, things sound, like old 60s or 70s recordings because I've turned the pan knob really wide left or right. We talked about absorption a lot. You can read some more about diffusion, and there's another paper in your email that tells you a whole lot more about acoustics. So I'll leave you with some of that. You can read about diffusion. Bass traps are just like serious absorbers. I've already shown you these absorptive panels. We've talked about the absorption coefficients. In all of your situations in your control rooms, I think you should be thinking mostly about near field monitoring. Next week, you'll get into the studios and you'll see what it might be like to be a little bit farther away from speakers in a controlled environment. When you're working with artists, you do need some kind of talkback system, and that's really, helpful for the artist and for you. I do have a monitor controller. So right here, this is the big knob from Mackie. I think it's all of, I don't know, $60 or $70. I can change speakers. I can go to mono. I can mute. Dim is a fancy way to say I'm going to turn it down, just like dimming a light. And I can select sources or select my different monitor speakers. So that's my knob on the desk, just like some of the shortcuts I've shared with you. My right hand goes out for that a lot of times. And I do have headphone amplifiers, and then I have a headphone amplifier on my system. I've got the UAD in here. And so then the headphone is there and ready with that cable on it. And that's just going across the room and comes up near where I would be tracking or working with an artist. So I'm kind of ready just to do a little bit of vocals in this little crazy room. All right, that covers all of this for tonight. I don't want to stay on Zoom too long because a lot of people had to do Zoom so much over the years. So if you have a question or a couple of questions, maybe we can answer those. And but officially class could be over. Let me, before anyone goes, let me make sure I've got photos of every one that was here. Who is iPhone? I need to know that. Someone says, it just says iPhone instead of somebody's name. You know, I think since someone has iPhone, unless they know who it is, let's see if I can email or text it. To iPhone, who can see this message? Hi, iPhone. Send me.
Barry.
Barry?
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Okay, perfect. All right. Any questions about the last week's lab or this one coming up or the rest of the class?
I have a question.
Hi,
I
Hannah.
was unable to be here last week. Is there any way to get the notes, the sheet for that class and the second lab assignment?
I think so. I think we can get that sent to you.
Thank you.
Yep. I'll make a note of it.
I have a question, Greg.
Yep. Who's that?
This is Mike Russell.
Hi, Mike.
All right, so on our first lab where we have to import the audio, I have Pro Tools on my computer, so I've got it all here. So when I go to import the audio, I go to my flash drive where it is, and I get it in there. But on the dialog box, I don't have a copy. It only has the add button. So I'm not sure what to do. It doesn't have the copy. It's just got add. So when you first go down to File, Import, and then you click that, and then then I tell it where to go on the flash drive we got from you guys, and to that what's it called, the black something.
This is for
correct?
lab 2, right?
Yes, sir. And so, but in that dialog box where you actually copy those files, it only has an add button. I don't see a copy button.
Can
So I
you
don't.
can you come into the office and meet with Jay about that?
I sure can.
I think that would be really good. And is your computer one that you could bring in and show him at that as well?
No.
Okay. Okay.
But I sent him an email and I sent him a screenshot
Okay.
of what I had, but he hasn't responded. I sent that like a day or two ago.
Okay. Maybe with all the flooding and all the stuff, because
Yeah,
you know, yesterday with his class, he had to do a Zoom as well.
of course. I was there at that one too. So
Yeah. So it's a lot of things going on.
yeah, for
But,
sure. I
yeah.
just got my power on yesterday, so I'm happy about
Let's
that.
just all stay on it and try to get through it.
Right.
Yeah.
So if he checks his email, I did send a screenshot and it's very evident because I labeled it, you know. So, but I could come in. Will he be there tomorrow?
I don't know, but I think
I'll call.
usually they just, yeah, I think that's best.
Sure, I'll call.
Mm-hmm.
All right, because I really want to get this assignment done, but it's not working out. When I hit the add button, you're right, it doesn't save the audio files. It just, Lord knows where it goes.
Yeah. Okay, somebody else?
Does he have does it have convert file?
It should. Michael, did you see that?
If it has convert, then that's what you use.
That's right.
Oh,
Yeah,
I do have that button, I think.
do convert and then look in your audio file folder and see if the files are sitting there after that.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and if that doesn't work, then I'll call and I'll come in tomorrow.
Okay, I got that, Derek. Okay, guys. I've enjoyed it. I'm gonna be out of country the next couple of weeks. Jay's gonna be there with a Fat Cat next week, and he'll be there for your last test. And God bless you all. Thanks. It's been a really cool class. I think you got a great foundation of what you guys, if you'd like to keep on going, there's more in the next two, sound recording 2 and sound recording 3.
Wait,
Thank
so
you.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Will next week be like our last session?
Next week will be like you're there with 2 instructors, and there'll be some of the kind of things that we did tonight and some hands-on, and I think you might get to see, I'm pretty sure you're gonna get to see in a studio. So you can, see other absorptive material in a studio and be right in one. That's
Oh,
what I think we planned.
all right.
Thank you, Jaden.
Hey, Greg,
Yes.
Satish here.
Yes.
Going back to the basics, okay.
Yes.
I know you added track 1, track 2.
Mm-hmm.
The master track,
Mm-hmm.
how did you add that?
Well,
And
let me go back to that. Anyone
okay,
that wants to say, we'll do that now. If there are no other questions, let's see if I can share the screen again. Share desktop.
while you're loading it up, one more question. Can I load an MP3 and split by music into tracks? Or no, reverse?
Say that again.
Once I have a song, okay, with all the music incorporated into it,
Mm-hmm.
can I load it into can Pro Tools separate all the instruments into separate tracks? Or no?
If you have a song that's just 2 channels, you won't be able to separate that like you're thinking of.
Okay.
Stop share. You'll have to have separate tracks when you do that. Okay, let me get back to that Pro Tools window. Share. Share. Let's see if this. One second. I'm gonna still work on do one more thing.
Sure.
Okay. Zoom. Share. There we go. There's one. Where is the other? Mix. Okay. Got it. Okay. If I didn't have the master track here, I'm gonna delete that now. It's still gonna play through that bus, but if I go to the file, I'm sorry, the track pull down, and you did new,
Hmm.
you could, on that new track, say stereo, and then master fader. That makes sense?
Okay.
And then,
So,
yep,
question before you move. So the master fader, it combines everything into the final result?
perfect. Yep, that's what it
Okay.
does. So that's it. That's our master fader now. Yep.
Hey, I'm not sure what to say.
And you can see I'm turning it down. And I'll
Hey,
turn it back up.
hey, I'm not sure what to say.
We talked a lot about option in the class. I use it all the time. Sometimes if my fader's down and I want it up, I use option and click.
Hey, I'm not sure.
And that puts it directly at 0. Mitch, did you get your problem worked out today? You still
Thank you,
there,
Greg.
Mitch, are you there? Oh, you did? Okay, good. Perfect.
Thank you, Greg.
Yeah, you're welcome, Satish. Anyone else with any questions they wanted to look at today?
So, question, I have not done any assignments because I couldn't get things working. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Should I come in tomorrow to get that fixed, or
Could you call Jay before you come in tomorrow,
Okay.
Dave or Jay, and ask them if you could come in. That would be great.
Okay,
Yeah,
sir.
come in whenever you can. Be
Is
perfect.
is there a direct number to that location or
Let's see if I can meeting group chat. Yeah, 3, 7. You see this in the chat right now?
oh, hold on.
Mhm.
Where is the chat? Okay, I see it. Okay.
Yep.
So that is the J Matson.
That's for the jam room.
Okay.
And, it would be Jay or Dave Allowine. Dave is usually answering the phone during the week, but you could reach both.
Yes, sir.
Okay, anyone else with a Pro Tools question or anything about what we covered? Okay, I think I'll go ahead and end the meeting.
Hold on. Writing down the number, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yep.
I'm good.
Hey, thank you all for being here. And it was a great class. Enjoyed you all.
Yes, sir. Have a good night.
Yeah,
Thank you, sir.
too. Yeah, richest blessings to all of you.
Yes, sir. Same to you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Good
Bye
night.
bye.
Night.